What's up, HRV? I'm Cassie Marino.
And I'm Kaylin Kenna. Welcome to What's Up, our weekly show about what's going on at the high school.
Recent changes to immigration laws might affect some HRV students.
The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA, provides legal status to people who immigrated to the U.S. as young children.
Perla, Andy, and Ruby talked to English teacher Nan Notaboom about the program.
DACA is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It is a government program that lets people who were brought here as children who are undocumented immigrants. It allows them to work legally. It's a temporary status, work legally, get a full driver's license, and be protected from deportation. So I'm just getting the word out that DACA has been reopened to new applications, and I'm getting the paper copies of the application into people's hands if they need that. And if they want me to proofread or go over their answers, I'm doing that also. It's just that it's my students that made me want to help with all of this. That we talk about college a lot in my class, and at the beginning of the year, I sit down and we have a chat about what you might be thinking and what your choices are and what your challenges or your barriers are to going to college. And so I often end up hearing that a super awesome, qualified, intelligent, bright student is undocumented and therefore has fewer opportunities. And I just see it as an injustice. So before DACA was rescinded, it was probably a dozen kids. And since DACA has been reopened to new applicants, I am working with like a half a dozen kids right now. And some of them aren't kids. They've graduated from HRV, but I was in touch and I knew about them when they were at HRV. And so they've reached out to me to pick up that process again. I know they're scared in general because they just live in fear about themselves, but especially about their families. But sometimes I think if they hear that other kids worked with me and it was okay, then I think that gives them maybe the courage to maybe email me or reach out. So anybody that has a question about DACA can email me. That's easy. Or if you want the paperwork, you can email me and I will send it. Or if you want to sit down with me and kind of go through it, I will do that with you in a Google Meet. And so it starts just with an email. And I'm not the only person that can help them with this. The local immigration counseling services also has people who can help them with this. They could hire a lawyer to go through their paperwork if they want. So there are a lot of resources, and CAUSAoregon.org also has a lot of resources to help kids do this as well. But I have helped kids before, and it's just pretty awesome when they come in and they got their DACA card and they got their work permit and they're ready to live the rest of their lives. Kind of looking to the future. We got a new president, and he has made immigration policy reform a priority, he says. And at first he was putting DACA changes in the first 100 days, but now lately he has moved that up to a higher priority. And he is looking at making DACA not a permanent protection. I mean, not a temporary protection that has to be renewed every 2 years, but a permanent protection. And also a path to citizenship for the dreamers, as they call them, who qualify for DACA. So people who were brought here as children through no decision of their own and who meet all the very strict requirements of DACA would then have a chance to pursue citizenship.
If you're a junior or a senior, you might remember a story we did about science teacher Kevin Hospella and his family, who went to live in Costa Rica for a year.
In that piece, Hospella's daughters, Kate and Hazel, told us about the animals they were going to see. Here's what they said then.
We're going to live near a jungle where there are lots of fruits, like mangoes, and animals, like monkeys, and parrots, and sloths.
Well, they went on a trip and now they're back.
Abby asked the whole family to tell us about their experience.
We lived in a little town by the name of Matapalo. It was very small. The town square was around a soccer field, and there was a church on one side, a supermarket on the other, and a couple of bar restaurants, and that was it. And there's a bunch of small, tiny homes, and we loved living there. It was a real sense of real Tico life.
There were lots of awesome animals in Costa Rica, like sloths, howler monkeys, capuchin monkeys, coatis, which are sort of like raccoons, but they looked more like anteaters. There was also lots of like wild cats.
My favorite wild animal that we saw was the howler monkeys because they're like super loud and the babies are like that big. They're really cute.
I also like the howler monkeys because we saw them often and they would like go through the trees behind our house, and so we got to see them the most.
Okay, my favorite animals. Number 1, the dung beetle. Really fun to watch them roll their dung down the hill. Number 2 were the local dogs that would accompany me on my morning runs. I really enjoyed them. They keep me safe. And then the quetzals, pretty much all the birds, because they're extremely colorful, and the quetzal has this really long blue tail. I think those are my favorite animals.
My favorite food in Costa Rica, or fruits, were mangoes, passion fruits, coconuts, because we can get like the coconut milk that we got a lot from just the coconut. You can just buy a coconut and suck out the milk. It was really good. And Hazel.
I really liked the mangoes. There's lots of mangoes, and throughout the year, there were like different types of mangoes. Like some were sweeter, and they were different sizes, but they were all really good. And there's also like fresh fish, like tuna. There's lots of tuna, and so one of my favorite meals that we had was like a tuna tower. So it had tuna and guacamole and mango and rice.
We learned a lot of Spanish. Aprendimos mucho español. Tenemos mucho más para aprender, pero
Sí, mucho más.
podemos entender cuando escuchamos.
Sí.
The girls were in half of their day was in Spanish and half was in English. So they spent a lot of time on Google Translate and asking for help.
This is our howler monkey impersonation or
That's our show for the week. Thanks for watching.
Luca asked some people to send pictures of what they've been wearing during quarantine. We'll leave you with some of their responses.
Come back next time and we'll tell you what's
What's up? All right.
Awesome.